If Lot the righteous man was distressed by the depraved conduct of the lawless, and was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless licentious deeds that he saw and heard, the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to hold the unrighteous for punishment. Church could be one of the most disturbing places to go to. That is one thing I have learned, an unfortunate thing I've learned growing up as a Christian in the Lord. Church could be a home for one of the most evil Christians. And what I mean is Christians that are bent on destroying Christians. Most often, these so-called Christians are not Christians, but false Christians. But they are pain in the church, to the point where a Christian, a true Christian, a God-fearing Christian, would be afraid to go to church, because the one place he would want to go to find salvation, to find rescue, not salvation in I'm going to be saved because I went to church, not that, but the one place he goes to refill his energy, to refill the one Sunday where he goes to church is the one Sunday where he's harassed by the devil himself in the compound of a church. How does God save you from this? There are so many mature Christians, but we can't tell if they are good Christians, if they are bad Christians. Well, Peter starts a similar discourse like this, but he's specifically speaking about false prophets in the Old Testament and false teachers, people who are in ministry and are false. Second Peter chapter 2 verse 1 says, "But there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord who bought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Many will follow their depraved conduct and will bring the way of truth to disrepute. In their greed, these teachers will exploit you with fabricated stories. Their condemnation has long been hanging over them, and their destruction has not been sleeping. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment, if he did not spare the ancient world when he brought the flood on its ungodly people, but protected Noah, a preacher of righteousness, and 7 others, if he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah by burning them to ashes and made them an example of what is going to happen to the ungodly, and if he rescued Lot, a righteous man who was distressed by the depraved conduct of the lawless, for that righteous man, living among them day after day, was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds that he saw and heard. If this is so, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to hold the unrighteous for punishment on the day of judgment. This is where I want to speak. Like I said, above he speaks about prophecy and the need for prophecy in writing scripture. Scripture did not come from cleverly devised fairy tales. When Mark or Luke or Peter or John write about Jesus, it's not Pixar writing about Puss in Boots. It's not Pixar writing about Puss in Boots. It's not Pixar writing about some fantastical creature. that can speak, a cat that can speak, or a donkey that is African American. Scripture was written by prophecy. Prophecy is necessary to understand. But there were also false prophets, like there are false teachers. And like I said, this is very dangerous because we don't want to apply this on Christians that just make us annoyed. Maybe we're annoyed by Christians because they are just annoying and undeveloped, raw Christians. Maybe they are lazy Christians. Peter has also said something about these types of Christians who are lazy and fruitless Christians, ineffective Christians, and unproductive in the knowledge of Jesus Christ, who don't even care about Jesus Christ. Maybe they are those things, but most often than not, they are false Christians that secretly and introduce destructive sects within the church that seek to divide the church and would even go to the denial of the sovereign Lord who bought them. This is very dangerous. So we could speak a lot about the false prophets. We could speak a lot about how the false teachers. We could mention names from America or from around the world. We could start naming names about false teachers. But like I said, my question here is, what does the Christian do when he's faced by these people? When he's faced by Christians that cause him trial? Imagine this: a Christian being a device, a method the devil uses to harass another Christian. Imagine the irony. The one person you go to find admonition, to find counseling, to find encouragement, to find teaching, is the one person that is playing both sides, that is being used by the devil. The person that prays in the altar says, God, use me, and then he comes to you and he says, I'm going to be used by the devil to make your life difficult. I've had a lot of people like that in my life, even in recent memory. People that have made it their mission to harass me. I'm sure the people listening to this have also had their fair share. How should you behave, O Christian, when you're faced by these men? We're going to look at Lot, because we heard about God did not spare the angels, speaking in judgment, and he spared Noah, a preacher of righteousness, and 7 others with him. And then it comes to the condemnation of the Sodom and Gomorrah, the the, the cataclysm that came to them, the cataclysm that they suffered, the catastrophe actually. Cataclysm is when he brought the flood. The word here is cataclysm. Cataclysmos, I think. Yes. Cataclysmon. Cataclysmos, which is a flood. Cataclysm is on the ancient world, on the archaiocosmo. Cataclysmon was on the archaiocosmo, on the first world, or on the ancient world. And on Sodom and Gomorrah, we see catastrophe. So this is catastrophe. When he brought catastrophe on Sodom and Gomorrah, burning to ashes, this is catastrophe, burning them to ashes. He rescued Lot. He did not leave Lot. So God comes to judgment on these lawless Christians, on these lawless, self-professed ministers. But they are distressing to us, and their depraved conduct is a reason for our lack of courage in the Lord. And maybe it might be, it might even be a reason. If we go back to read 2 Peter chapter 1, it might even be a reason for us to stop adding on our faith knowledge, on our knowledge arete or virtue, on our virtue self-mastery, on our self-mastery, steadfastness in trials. They might be hindrances, distressed by the depraved conduct of people that love licentiousness. This is the lawless, and he was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds. What happened to Lot? Verse 9. This is what I want to tell us today. Iden Kyrios, Eusebis ek periasmun rueste. The Lord knows. Eden. This is the word that I want. It is an understanding. The Lord has it within him, the understanding to save the godly, the pious, and the devout out of his trials, whatever the trials may be you are facing. Maybe this torment by evil Christians, by immature Christians, is causing you to be. So whatever person is causing you pain, know the twofold knowledge of God. He knows two things: how to rescue you, Iden Kyrios. He understands it. And then how to hold the unrighteous accountable for punishment. He's going to ask them. But you have to be in the right standing before God. Make sure you're in right standing, not sinning against your brother or your sister. Iden Kyrios. He knows. The Lord knows. God bless you.